Hey guys, welcome to the Buff Show. Just me today. And today we're going to cover buying up. So, a lot of people, I hear this more often than not, and I warn about this. You don't want to be house poor, but rarely is it talked about where you need to maybe overspend a little bit in order to plan for the future. And this is a conversation I've had with quite a few clients, especially if you're in the early years of, say, growing a family and you're having kids. You need to plan for that because if you buy a house and say it was, within a comfortable budget, but you could have afforded maybe 50 to 100 grand more, and let's say that 50 to 100 grand more could have got you an additional, 1,000 square feet or whatever. That difference can go a long ways. Recently, I've been running into past clients that have bought in homes with us. And I've heard this regret come up a few times where it's like, man, I wish I would have just bought a little bit more house back when homes were a little bit cheaper back then and rates were a little bit cheaper, because then we wouldn't be having to go through this process again, because buying a house, selling a house, that's all expensive. And so if you can maybe plan for your next purchase and make sure that it's going to accommodate you and your goals and your family over a longer time horizon, that way you're not getting, too uncomfortable and in a spot where you have to move sooner than you wanted to. I think that's not a bad idea to maybe stretch the budget a little bit in order to plan and prepare for your growing family. So it's something I wanted to kind of shoot a quick little podcast about, because I think far too often we're worried about not being house poor and we're not thinking about, hey, how is our family going to be growing? How our dynamics will be changing, and how will your income and job be changing as well? Because I think initially, anytime you make a large purchase, you're going to feel a little bit house poor. But I think people commonly underestimate maybe what their income will be in the next couple of years as well. And so it's very easy to get, say you bought a house 3 years ago and you're like, man, the payment at that time was super uncomfortable, but we quickly got used to it. And now it's like a breeze because I've gotten all these pay raises or changed jobs. And now it's definitely more comfortable. So I just encourage you guys, as you're out looking at houses and trying to figure out what is the right property for you, while you don't want to be house poor, I think it's important to think about finding a fit that will fit you more longer term if you're in a period where your life's going to be changing a lot. And I think in the long term, you'll save more money that way by being able to avoid another potential move where you can just say finish a basement, or something like that, where you have room to grow into it as your family and life circumstances change or expand. So hopefully this podcast is helpful and just gets those wheels churning. A lot of this, like, it could look like, hey, we are just a family of two or three right now, but we're planning on having more kids. Let's find a house, say with an unfinished basement or a mother-in-law apartment that we can rent out for a few years. And then as our family grows, we can start accessing that apartment, not renting it out, and using it for our future family and growth there. Or if you're a little bit older in life and you have relatives or family members that you're like, we're going to need a spot for, my mom to come and stay, because we want a spot as she gets older, a spot for her, like planning for those types of situations so that your house will be able to accommodate your family's needs in the next years to come. So hopefully it's helpful. Just something we wanted to shoot real quick, and kind of a brain teaser to make you think about different ways to think about when you're out there making a large financial decision like buying a house. So hopefully it helps. And until next time, thanks, guys.